Good day and welcome to the SportWrap show. My name is Jesse Jackson Kauraitha and I will be your host for today. In today's show, we focus on the latest news that is making headlines, which include boxing and football. And now for your latest on the hit list. In the first news, it is that Namibia beat Lesotho 2-0 in the Cosafa Women's Championship last Group B match. The Brave Gladiators came into the match as favorites after a dominant performance over Eswatini on Sunday. Memory Ngonda opened the score sheet before Senator Coleman scored the second goal, which was enough to seal Namibia a victory. Namibia dominated the proceedings from the onslaught, which saw them producing 10 shots with only 2 of them hitting the target, while Lesotho failed to produce any shot on target from their side. The Henties Bay Harambee Charity Organization will be hosting the 2-day Henties Bay Harambee Charity Cup for soccer and netball fans on 1 and 2nd October at the Omdel Sports Stadium in Henties Bay. The winner of the soccer tournament will walk away with 25,000, 20 gold medals, soccer kits, and a floating trophy. The runner-up will win 15,000, 20 silver medals, and soccer balls. The semi-finalists will each receive 5,000 as well as 20 bronze medals. Winners in the netball tournament will win 2,515 gold medals. The finalists will pocket 1,250 as well as 15 silver medals, while the semi-finalists will each receive 625. The annual event, previously known as the Michael Skinny Charity Cup, according to the founder and chairperson of the Charities Cup, Michael Skinny, the event will be attended by, among others, Erongo Regional Governor Andre Neville Itope, Arantes Constituency Councillor Benita Imbamba, Henties Bay Mayor Lovis Vermaak, councillors, sponsors, and other invited guests. That Nandipo said that boys from the club are performing well, but they are struggling to make sponsors. The BB Band Boxing and Fitness Academy from Arandes is calling out for assistance for help from businesses. This is after they spoke, that is to our reporter Adam Hartman, about the event. He further added that the club is open to all regardless of the background of this club. We will now visit the break and then we'll be back.
The My.NA Cars Show provides viewers with the best in-class cars content, engaging interviews, as well as a showcase of the latest cars-related news, products, and services. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact My.NA at synergy.com.na. My.NA Cars, more than just a ride.
Today's SportWrap has former boxer and now administrator Jason Naule to speak about his illustrious boxing career. He has been to many countries and has represented Namibia at various competitions before turning professional. Naule, however, retired at an early age and has been involved in boxing administration, which has seen him serving on the Commerce Boxing Federation board and as well as on the Boxing Control Board. The 43-year-old is our golden oldies. Enjoy. Many know him just as an administrator, a boxing administrator, but there is more to it. Before he became all that, Tax Naule was a boxer himself, although he didn't really pursue that much very far. But he is still a boxing legend and a legendary administrator as we speak, currently serving on the Boxing Control Board. Tax, welcome to the SportWrap show.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. I know it's something that you have not been speaking about too much, and you haven't spoken about. Many do not know about it. I'm sure maybe some might have read it before, but you were a boxer before you became an administrator, and I think I want to know maybe that journey, and where you fought, who your biggest fights were, how you ended up retiring and all that. I'm sure it's an interesting tale that people would like to know. But we start off with what motivated you to fall in love with boxing, and at what age could have that been?
Thank you, Jesse. It's quite a very mouthful question, because if I really have to talk about my journey into boxing, it's actually it's worth a book. It's not just something that you can say in a few minutes interview.
Yeah,
it actually deserves a book. Maybe you've just given me a thought to think about, because I think I've really done a lot for boxing, and boxing has done a lot for me also personally. I started at a very tender age. I started, I think, if I'm not sure, I started when I was probably 12 or 13. So I started at a very tender age. I was probably grade 3 or 4, started boxing already. But boxing is not just a thing of getting to hit each other. It's a very good sport. A lot of people consider boxers as artists, because it's an art on its own. So when I started as a small boy, just to go see how people are training, and then it just got my attention. Started training with the big guys. I'm sure back then boxing never had professional, so we did it for the love of boxing. That time, if you see somebody walking into a gym, then you must know that that person is really interested in boxing. Not like in today's era where people are motivated by a lot of things, but that time it was boxing, just boxing.
So was this in Windhoek now, or was it somewhere else?
Yeah, I started here in Windhoek. I started at the community hall there in Katutura. I think it was the only gym back then. It was the only gym in Katutura that usually accommodated everybody else from Katutura. So we started there. I started there as a junior, I progressed to senior, and I did national, I did African, I went for Commonwealth, I went for all African Games. The only thing I did not go is the Olympics, because I think I missed out. I went to the Olympic qualifiers and I missed out. I just missed out on a fight that I lost. I won one and lost the one that is supposed to have qualified me.
Okay, going back into the central gym, because back in the day there were guys like Jonathan, I think his surname was Petrus, and a lot of people were training there. So who was some of the people that you met there that motivated you actually in terms of training and all that?
Well, if I have to mention names, some of them are late of now, and some of them are still alive, but they were very good guys that really guided us back then. I still remember that back then the person that was actually coaching there was actually a police inspector. I don't know. I think the surname is Swartz or something. But he was a police guy that was actually helping us there. And there were also a couple of bigger guys that would actually help us there. There was a guy like Franz Mumbu. There were guys like, there were a lot of guys that it's just that the names sometimes.
Yes, definitely. It's been years.
Yeah, it's been years.
You need those things documented down.
But there's one that actually comes to my name, to the head. He was, I think he was a Namachet. I think his name was Rodman. But I just know that his name was, but he was a very good guy. He's actually a guy that was very accommodative. He had the patience, because number one, for you to actually be guiding youngsters, you need to have patience. because people that don't just walk into the gym and they become good. So when they come in the gym, they don't know nothing about boxing. So he had that patience, and he knew how to actually
to speak to people and communicate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So you spent time there as a junior fighting there. Actually, first looking at the boxers training, and then you eventually got the chance to be in the ring. What was your first day like? Would you still remember probably your first fight, a real fight in a competition? Is there any? Do you have perhaps any memories of that and how it went down that day?
Yes, I think my first fight was. I think my first fight I fought in the north, and I think back then we used to watch movies of Muhammad Ali's there, but my favorite was Sugar Ray Leonard. So I watched a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard's fights. So I think the first thing that caught people's eye was my movement. Even though I could not punch, I had the movement. So I could actually win a round without even throwing a punch. But it's just that because I make sure that the other guy, even if I didn't touch him, the other guy will also not be able to touch me. So I'll win the fight basically just on the movement.
Making you a very dangerous guy, exhausting the boxers and punishing them later.
Exactly.
Oh, so that was your strategy. And did you win the first fight, or was it one of those baptism of fire where you probably ran yourself tired?
No. I know very well that I can say I've never lost a fight in my junior years. That is one of the things that I can vividly remember.
Say that during your junior years you were actually unstoppable.
Yeah, I never lost a junior fight. The only fights I came to lose was now when I graduated the seniors. No, the seniors. Oh. Because you become a junior first, which they call you a cadet. And then from the age of 18 above, you join the senior people. Now the senior people, we had established champions already. I remember I fought against Ali Nomembe. I lost because he was already established. I lost against Franz Mumbu. He was already an established guy. So
I mean, it's a guy you founded the gym.
Exactly. But when you reach to that stage, they don't separate you as from the beginners. You are thrown together all of a sudden.
Okay. There must have been a lot going on in your career. Obviously, having gone through African champs, missing out also on the Olympics, but having been, Commonwealth. So, what is the highlight of that time? Is there something perhaps that you remember that made you proud as a boxer in terms of yourself and the country as a whole?
Well, I think one thing that will make you proud as a person is just that you are representing your country. So everywhere you go, you carry your country's pride on your shoulders, and it's something that I would actually be proud of as a youngster. Because once you get, I think back in that time, once you get to be selected for a national team, it was really a big thing. It was not like now that people take it for granted, because I think people are more worried about money these days. Because you find somebody saying, what if you go to a national team, you don't get paid? But it's that feeling that you are representing your country that carries you, and that will make you one day realize that what I did was actually not something small. It was actually something quite big, even though you didn't get really paid like people are putting it these days.
So, look, you went on and started professional now. You turned professional. How many fights, probably more or less, did you have in the professional side?
If I can still remember, I think I retired quite
early in the professional.
Yeah, you will say early, but it's also because I started very early. So boxing is just boxing, whether you are amateur or professional. It was the same concept. So I started way early, so I also got a bit of tired, and that if you are tired, also sometimes it also becomes
a burden on you in terms of
you are no longer motivated.
Tired of getting the punches and all.
So a lot of people will say I ended way early, but I think I had, if I'm not mistaken, I probably had 15 or 17 fights that I know. But I lost, I think 3 or 4 fights. But those fights I lost, I think I lost just purely because I was not motivated enough. I was no longer hungry for success. It became just a pastime. It became something that you just do when you don't have anything to do.
So you really had an illustrious career of boxing, and that's why maybe you were able to fit in well into things like the Commerce Boxing Federation and all, because of the passion that you had and somebody that participated in boxing in general. Right now you currently serve also on the board, which is also something remarkable. I wanted to know, as a boxer, what is the difference between the years and the years we are in today, in terms of structures, in terms of the passion, in terms of the skill, in terms of everything, the discipline and that?
Well, I think it's quite a good question, that one, because it's a question that not only is supposed to be for boxing, but it's a question that goes to all the sports structures in the country. I think number one is passion. I think every now and then, when something is good, it attracts a lot of attention. Now, in attracting attention, it also attracts
a lot of bad stuff as well.
Yeah, it attracts a lot of bad stuff. It attracts good stuff, bad stuff, everything.
And fame, everything.
So now, in that small space, now you have, let's say you have 2 people that are passionate about boxing, and then you have 5 that are just chance takers. Now the 5 will make sure that they don't allow the 2 to come in, because they start fearing you. And the people that really love sports are not really into this sport politics. They would rather decide, no, let me go home, because he's not doing it because there's an incentive or there's money. They are doing it basically because they love sport. Now, I think, I for one, I think I'm one of the few that have had an uninterrupted sport career, because immediately after I stopped junior, I went to senior. Immediately from senior, I went to professional. Immediately from professional, after I just decided I'm no longer interested in this, I started helping out the younger boys in the gym. First, I became a coach, and then I started helping younger boys in the gym. And then when you join the gym, obviously you have a gym, you now join a federation. And then after being in a federation as a coach, I got elected to serve in the leadership, and then I served in the leadership. After I served in the leadership, I was also now hired by somebody that says, no, you can come and serve in the board. And then that's how I graduated. It's not that you are not there by accident, let's say that. Exactly. No, that is why these structures are supposed to be saving. But now you have people that will be jumping. You'll find somebody that wasn't there for the past 10 years. And all of a sudden you find the person is now serving maybe as a secretary general or a president of a federation. But then you ask, when last did this guy fight? Then you will realize that there was a huge gap, that he was nowhere in the structure or in the system. Okay, thank you, Tax. We have had really a great time talking to you. You have shared your career. We will have more of this going forward. Like you said, your life is like a book. You need a book for it. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you.
That was Jason Naule. We will now visit the marketplace, and after that, it is Ariel Hart with the latest international news. Enjoy.
Flex is your health and fitness show that focuses on the health of the mind, body, and spirit. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact zone@synergy.com.na.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with tennis news. There's still the US Open continuing. This is week 2. The finals this weekend, the Saturday the women's final, Sunday the men's final. And the results in the round of 16. First on the men's side, it is Travis Tiafoe of USA, of the United States. He had a significant win for him. First time ever he played, beat Rafael Nadal, and it is the number 2 set. Rafael Nadal knocked out of the tournament. He lost 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 and 6-3 to Tiafoe, and Tiafoe will now next play Andrei Rublev, and Andrei Rublev beat Cameron Norrie of Great Britain, and the score there was 6-4, 6-4 and also 6-4 in the third set. Another result, third seed Carlos Alcaraz really had to work hard for his win, and that was against Marin Cilic. And Marin Cilic was a 2014 winner of the US Open, and that game went on into the early morning hours in New York. The game only finished the local time in New York at 23 minutes after 2 in the morning. So it was Alcaraz that won in 5 sets. It was a 6-4 and then 3-6, 6-4, 4-6 and 6-3 in the 5th set. Going on to the women's side of the draw, it is number 1 seed Iga Swiatek of Poland. She beat Julie Niemeyer of Germany in 3 sets. And then it was number 6 seed Aryna Sabalenka. She beat Danielle Collins of the USA quite convincingly 6-3 and 6-2. Karolina Pliskova, the 22nd seed, also through to the quarterfinals. She beat Victoria Azarenka. Going on to some cycling news, it is the Tour of Britain that started. It was stage 2, and it was from Harwich to Duns. It was quite a difficult stage. There were 3 category 3 climbs in the stage, 175.2 kilometers. In the end, it was Kees Bol of the Netherlands that won in a time of 4 hours, 8 minutes and 35 seconds. And Jake Stewart was second. He's from Great Britain. He only won by almost half a centimeter, so it was quite a close photo finish in that sprint. Corbin Strong of Australia finished third, and by that he maintained his overall lead in the general classifications. It is Corbin Strong that leads with the combined time of the first 2 stages of 8 hours, 44 minutes and 58 seconds. In second place is Jake Stewart of Great Britain, 8 seconds behind Strong, and then in third it's Omar Fraile of Spain, also 8 seconds behind Strong. The third stage will be from Durham to Sutherland, and that is 163.6 kilometers, with lots of climbs in that stage as well. Now continuing international sports news with boxing news, and it seems like progress has been made for the WBC heavyweight title holder, that is Tyson Fury, to fight against his countryman Anthony Joshua. And it was a recent fight. It was Joshua that fought against Alexander Usyk, and that was Usyk that won. That was the 3 belts that was on the line. It was WBA, the IBF and the WBO belt. But Usyk said it is too early to fight this December already against Fury for the unification of all those belts. So it was Tyson Fury that said that he will fight in December. He's prepared to fight in December against Anthony Joshua for the Battle of the Britons. It is Tyson Fury that is still unbeaten after 33 fights with 32 wins and 1 draw. Anthony Joshua, however, has lost 3 fights in his 25 fights. And closing off today's international sports news with some rugby news. After all the rugby of the weekend, the new world rankings came out, and it is South Africa that remain in the 3rd position. That is after they beat the Australian team, or beat Australia by 24 points to 8. That was in Sydney. It is still Ireland that is the number 1 ranked team in the world, with France number 2. It's New Zealand, the All Blacks, that move up to number 4th in the world, and that is after they beat Argentina by 53 points to 3 quite convincingly. And it is Australia that dropped down to number 8 in the world, their lowest ranking ever, and that is after losing quite convincingly to South Africa. There's no rugby test this coming weekend. There's a weekend off for all the teams, so both teams, or 4 of the teams in the Rugby Championship. And the next game will actually be played on Thursday next week. It's not very usual for that to happen on a Thursday, not on a Saturday, but it will be Australia that will host New Zealand on Thursday, the 15th of September. That game will be played in Melbourne. And then it is South Africa that play next week, Saturday. That will be the 17th of September. They will play at home an away game. They will play Argentina in Buenos Aires. That is in the Rugby Championship. So that is the international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Ari. That is all we have for you today. Catch the SportWrap show again tomorrow at the same time, same place. Goodbye.